Reverend Father, and all those who helped in the Mass, choir, the family of Eperu who are here, the children, the brothers, sisters, my colleagues from FDC, all of you dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's fitting to start by saying that God is good. All the time. And all the time? God is good. He hasn't had that clap. Can you clap for that? Thank you very much. That is the first reason we are here anyway, to thank the Lord who has been gracious to give us Sarah for all this time that we have been together. And to give us a wonderful person, frankly, because sometimes, people may live around us, and when they go, people get relieved. That this person has really been a terrible person. We thank God that he has rested. But Sarah was a very, very jolly, pleasant person, very intelligent, very sociable, very helpful, as you've heard. Her home has been full of all types of people. And she was especially, I think, very magnetic to young people. The young people around here, if you came, you'd find, all kinds of young people. The bodas around this place, they were especially attached to her, in every sense. And so she's been a wonderful person to be around any community. And that is precisely, Reverend Father, the first duty I think that we were given by God. Love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, the two main commandments, which is love your God and love your neighbor, it's often quite difficult to know whether, only God indeed will judge how we have loved our God and honored and, served our God. Because quite often people tell lies. Even in the Bible you saw those Pharisees who appeared very, and wanted to carry themselves as very, close to God, but who would not help the person who was in trouble. The story of the Samaritan. And so it's very difficult to know how we are related to God. But it is easier to know whether we love our neighbors. And normally such times when people go, it is the easiest way to know whether somebody loved their neighbors. Because when you are alive, if you make a function, some people come so that you may see them, that they have come. But when you are not there and the people come in, and that time, you know, they come on their own, there is nothing to benefit from coming to your home, just to show how related they were to you. That is, I think, the time when the service to man, the love to your neighbor is best tested. And I believe that all of you are here as testimony to Sarah's love for his neighbor, for her neighbors. And I thank you for coming to give that testimony. Thank you very much. And what of course united us further with our sister was only one thing: the quest for justice, to live in a just society. That's the one thing that has united us, that we all can be in a country where we have equal opportunities, where we have an equal right to be here and to share into what God has blessed us with in our country. Just fairness, justice, that's what united us. That, you know, I can speak freely, I can move freely. That if there is an opportunity, maybe a business, maybe a job, that we can all have an equal chance to benefit from those opportunities. And of course, I don't need to remind you about the situation that we are challenging, you know, where you find somebody is in charge of the country, the wife is somewhere, the son is somewhere, the brother is there, the in-laws are there. I beg your pardon, there are very many people here. These are public opportunities. We all need to share equally. And of course, when you talk, then you get into trouble. And I have been in a lot of trouble because of that. And one of the reasons Sarah became close to me is that she had a very articulate voice to speak up for any situation. She would speak up, she would be persistent, she would be resilient, and she would be heard. She was an articulate voice, a voice of the voiceless. And again, that is one of the, you know, attributes of serving the Lord, to be a voice of the voiceless. In fact, the priesthood confers that on all our priests, of the voiceless. And that's why we have the greatest respect for those serving in that role, in that ministry, to speak up. So, you know, we are very glad to really have Sarah amongst us. We honor her for her service to the country, not just to the party, but to the country. I think she has, you know, made an immense service Of course, she has retired, as you have heard, when there are problems in the party that she has built. But those are part of the things that we shall continue to grapple with. My own sense is not to dwell on these minor challenges that we have amongst ourselves, because there is a bigger challenge that raised all of us to come and deal with. And we shall be losing the track to start spending time quarreling amongst ourselves. We must continue focusing on the bigger problem and get it out of the way. And that's really how we will honor the life of Sarah here. That what she stood for so long and sacrificed for so long, that we are able to achieve it. You know, she had kidney problems. That was eventually what caused, I believe, her demise. And if you get kidney problems in this country, you are literally sentenced to death, because we don't have capacity to deal with it. You know, she was getting dialysis treatment, which is like artificial kidneys to clean your blood. And each session, she was getting 3 sessions a week. Each session she had to pay at least 250,000, at least. So she needed 750,000 shillings just to live for 1 week. I mean, and as you heard, she's been hardworking, paying taxes to government all the time. If health cannot be a common public good that is available, then what is the public state? The state, what is it for? If it can't provide, because you can't build a hospital by yourself, however rich you are. You cannot train nephrologists to serve you if your kidney is a problem. You need a public health system that is not there. So whether you are NRM, whether you are FDC, whoever you are sentenced to death by simply the failure of the state to provide basic services to us. And that's, you know, Sarah would still be here if there were public health services. So really it's incumbent upon us not to waste time, you know, bickering amongst ourselves, because I've seen that cancer cropping up, you know, people who set off for a very important task, they reach on the way and they start, you know, just bickering while the problem is growing and growing and growing. So we really have a duty to Sarah and to very many of our colleagues who have departed, and certainly to the country, to get ourselves out of this mess that we are in. And as you've heard, a little while back I was a little silent, but I have now, you know, really come back. I really think before I also join Sarah in expiring, I should do so. Yes, watch it phenomenon. Yes, you know, so Father njagala kwebaza ennyo olw'ebigambo ebizimba. I want to thank Father for the words that really build us, that you have delivered. Just to compliment, to add on to what Honorable Mwijuche said. Yes, sharp words are necessary to wake up people who are in slumber. And maybe, you know, God has his way of working, which is not our way. I think if Sarah had been very active in LC1 here of the church, those words would not have come out. So I think, you know, in his infinite ways of providing ministry to his people, I think, you know, Sarah was active in Naguru and therefore helped in getting the words that are necessary for. What is this place called? Chirigwa Jo. So abe Chirigwa Jo mufunye omukisa olwasaala obutabeera active wano ne mufuna ebigambo ebizimba ebibawaliriza ogenda Kirigwa Jo mutegerekeke mu kereziya ya wano ofune enamba nawe mu church gyotegerekekako nti gwe namba gundi era byolina okukola mu kereziya oba olina okubanga okola ki obikola n'otegerekeka nti oli mu Kristo wa wano. So omulimu ogwo nagwo Saara agukoze. So naye mu Lungereza mbadde ngamba nti Saara kyamaze ebbanga ddene ng'akolerera ekyobwenkanya eggwanga erituwa obuweereza bwe tusaanidde kufuna kusinziira ku ebyo naffe bye tukola mu ggwanga. Tukola bingi, tuwaayo omusolo ogwandibadde gutukolera ffenna ebyawamu bye tutasobola kwekolera kinnoomu, kubanga mulimu gwa gavumenti si kukolera naawe byosobola okukola ki okwekolera. Mulimu gwa gavumenti kukolera gwe byotosobola kukola ki kwekolera. Tosobola kwezimbira luguudo, tosobola kwezimbira masomero noteekawo abasomesa naki n'okola syllabus n'okola biki ebyo tosobola kubyekolera. Tosobola kwezimbira entegeka ekulabirira obulamu. Gavumenti bye yandibadde ekola byetekola kubanga sente tuziteekayo naye gye ziraga mumanyiyo mu abo abatono ennyo abatwala sente ng'eki, you know, obubbi obuli mu ggwanga lino tebubeerangawo mu mawanga nze genda bye gonna. Obubbi obuyitirivu ennyo n'osasula ne zigenda ne bongeza omusolo. Kati ab'eddiini era omusolo, kubanga omusolo buli lunaku bakola ki bongeza, naye ng'ebikomawo tebikola ki tebiriiwo. So ekyo Saara kyabadde alwanirira, kyekyatugatta tulwane ffenna, era ngambye nti ngeri gyagenze nange nga sinamugoberera ngenda kwongera mu giya namwe musituke. Musituke twongere mu giya tulabe nti oba oliawo nga tetunagenda embeera eno ekola ki eneetereera. Mwebale nnyo okujja kusabira omwoyo gw'omunaffe eyatuvuddeko. Nga bwe muwulidde tugenda kumuwerekera ku butaka gy'ava ekyalo Koloi. Bw'oba ogenda Soroti nga wakayita Mukula weewo we bagambye Saara we yatandikira ebyobuvuzi waliwo station y'eggaali y'omukka omwali ebiyumba ebyo biwagoni by'eggaali y'omukka mwe bayokera abantu abayitirivu abaafiira mu gundo. Saara kwe kutandika okulwana ne gavumenti mutamutya abantu bwe bati. Era wana mu Kampala yalwana nnyo kuba baali bagoba wano mu mayumba Naggulu. Ndowooza oba ne kyakibwa y'ensonga lwaki wa Naggulu. Yalwana nnyo nga bagoba n'okumenya amayumba agagenda Naggulu wawo Nakawa era mukimanyi nti baali balimba nti simanyi bagenda kuzimbawo biki simanyi site naye ng'ettaka lyonna baalikola ki babbalibbe naye nga Saara yateekawo olutalo lw'amaanyi nnyo. Kale nno tulina kumusasula naffe nga tukola ebyo byonna ebinaatuukiriza obulamu bwe kyabukozesezza okulwanirira obwenkanya. Mukama bampeera omukisa.